What is up, everyone? I don't want to talk for too long, but obviously this is a video that I've never done before or anything even remotely similar, so I want to kind of just clarify a couple things. So yeah, this is going to be a list in no particular order of things that used to be in bedwars that no longer are, hence the title. Keep in mind that I didn't even play bedwars back then, let alone record it, so I'm going to be having to rely on other people's content. Man's just chilling up there. I really just got distracted by an Enderman. But yeah, I'll definitely credit where credit is due. I'll link each channel and the clip in the description, probably of the video that I use, and I think that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, starting off our list, we have something a lot of people will likely remember, and that being stars in the queues. Essentially, you'd just be able to see the stars of the people you're queuing, or in the pre-game lobby with you. It would just show their star above their head right before their name, and if you click tab, it would show their star as well. This was added in the initial release of bedwars, but removed a couple months later in update 1.2 because all the high stars would end up getting targeted, and there was a lot of forum posts by these high stars complaining about it, so it was removed by the admins. If you happen to play any bedwars while it was still in the prototype lobby, then you may be familiar with this one. In the very early stages of bedwars in the prototype lobby, we're talking January 2017, you actually didn't spawn with a wood sword, but rather a wood pickaxe, and you could buy a wood sword for 10 iron from the shop. Along with bedwars update 0.6, which was on April 20th, 2017, they removed the spawning with a wooden pickaxe and changed it to a wooden sword, of course. They added the wooden pickaxe back to the shop for 10 iron, and then removed the wooden sword from the shop. Another thing exclusive to prototype bedwars was the team selector. Now in this specific clip, 3v3 was the only mode released, solo, doubles, and 4v4 weren't out yet, but you can see the wool blocks in the hotbar representing each team and stacking as people join them. This was due to the fact that bedwars didn't have party support yet, so if you wanted to play with your friends, you'd have to manually select to be on their team. In the version of bedwars we've come to know and love, it's easy to tell which team you're on. You just take a look over at the sidebar, check where the giant U is, and that's your team. However, it wasn't always this easy. In this clip of really playing on the first day bedwars was officially released, you can tell on the sidebar that there's nothing that shows what team he's on. This was pretty annoying as there was really no quick way of telling what team you're on. You'd have to sort of look at your armor or the blocks in your inventory. But you can tell in this clip that he's on gray team and he actually has no gray blocks in his inventory. So it's really nice that they soon added a sign that shows us which team we're on. Alright, so this one refers to two team upgrades that used to be in the game and no longer are, but they didn't get removed, they got changed, and those are the island auras. The two auras I'm talking about are the minor fatigue aura and the regen aura. Of course, the regen aura was renamed to heal pool, and that's what it still is today, and the minor fatigue aura was changed into the trap queue as the minor fatigue trap. Lots of things have been added and removed in bedwars, but one thing that's more rare than others is the maps getting revamped. For instance, in this clip here, they're playing on the old orchestra, which obviously is a lot bigger, and that was actually the reason it was removed, because it was way too big of a map and the games took way too long. Another example of a map that got revamped was Pernicious. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any actual gameplay on it, but I found this cinematic footage, so this is what the old Pernicious looked like. Now this one you'll definitely remember if you played before October of 2017, but making a bed defense used to be a lot simpler. In this clip here, you can see Riley building his bed defense with a block called sandstone. Now sandstone wasn't actually removed, it was changed into what we all know it as today, which is hardened clay. Hardened clay and sandstone had the exact same properties and the same price, and everything was pretty much the same, except the only difference was, with clay they realized that they could use the different colors of clay for the different teams, so that's why they changed it. You can also see by looking at the shop that blast-proof glass didn't exist yet, so this is what I meant by making a bed defense used to be a lot simpler. You've probably seen this in some of the previous clips, since all these clips are from older versions of bedwars, but the shop used to be a whole lot different. Now the team upgrade shop isn't too much different, obviously a couple things are missing, but it hasn't had a big change like our actual shop. Here's a screenshot of what our shop interface looks like today. Obviously you've got your favorite and recommended items in the middle, but if the item you want isn't shown there, you can go into each specific tab at the top and select it manually. Now with the old shop, you didn't have favorite items, so you'd have to go into each tab manually. Now this one's not related to the gameplay of bedwars, but rather the logistics. What you're looking at here is a screenshot from the forum post announcing bedwars update 1.2, and you can see in this one that I've highlighted what I'm going to be talking about. They changed it so that you'd get less experience per win, which was actually half of what you previously got, and doubled the experience gain per minute for just simply playing bedwars. This of course caused an outrage in the bedwars sweat community because it meant leveling up was less based on how much you won, and more so how much you played. This one you should all remember because it was only removed in August of 2019, but bedwars used to have a fun minigame called Capture Mode. You can see it on the screen right now. This is actually my gameplay from my last video on it. I don't really have too much to say about this mode. A lot of people didn't like it and it was quite unpopular, so it was removed, but it was still a fun game nonetheless. This one's quite minor, but the lobby sign for bedwars used to be different. As you can see, it says bedwars Hypixel, not Hypixel bedwars, and they're both in the same font. As you can see now, they've redone it to say Hypixel bedwars, and they've made Hypixel a lot fancier. Another thing exclusive to prototype bedwars, but the value of a block used to be a lot lower. Instead of getting 16 wool for 4 iron, you could actually get 24, and the same went for sandstone. In fact, you used to be able to get 8 obsidian from one purchase of 4 emeralds. These were all changed in update 0.4 due to community feedback. Now this one's a bit of a funnier one, but if you remember this, you certainly are OG. So as you probably know, GamerBoyD was the first one to hit many of the bedwars prestiges, and he live streamed it for everyone to see. However, some of these prestiges were more disappointing than others, and this one specific is very, very disappointing. Now I know what you're thinking, what could possibly be more disappointing than hitting 1,000 and seeing that rainbow color? Well, believe it or not, the first time GamerBoyD hit 500 star, the admins hadn't actually created a 500 prestige yet, so it was still the same color as Emerald Prestige. Now this one really only applies to prototype as well, but final kills and bed destructions used to be different. As you can see, when a bed got destroyed in the game, it would be broadcasted on every single player's screen no matter what team you were on. Likewise, final kills weren't even a thing yet. As you can see, they broke Blue's bed and killed a blue player, but there's nothing that says final kill, it just acts like a normal kill.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce.
This isn't as big a change as spawning with a pickaxe, but you used to have to buy tools manually. What I mean by that is there was no tier system. If you wanted a tool, let's say an iron pickaxe, you'd have to go purchase the iron pickaxe and you'd lose it on death. The only axe in the game was a diamond axe, and there was even an unenchanted wooden pickaxe. Of course, tools were heavily underused and got reworked for the 1.2 update. So this one kinda applies to any version of bedwars, but over the years, lots of items have received price changes for balance. I think the most notable items are TNT, which used to be 5 in solo doubles and 10 in teams modes. Both invis potions and water used to cost 1 emerald, iron swords used to cost 6 gold, fireballs used to cost 50 iron, and iron golems used to cost 150 iron. Another very minor one, but back in prototype, Chainmail Armor didn't exist yet. You'd had iron armor and diamond armor. Diamond armor still cost 6 emeralds, but iron armor actually only cost 8 gold at this time. Chainmail Armor was added in update 0.4, and it still currently is the same. As you know, the only 2 mobs currently in bedwars are the Dream Defender and Bedbug, which are the Iron Golem and Silverfish respectively, but these guys weren't always the way they are today. Firstly, their names were different. The Bedbug used to be called the Icefish, and the Iron Golem used to be literally just called Iron Golem Egg. The mobs didn't have timers back then. Instead, they had a limit on how many you could spawn. In prototype, you could only spawn 3 golems per team, then it got changed to 2 per player. Whenever we get a kill in bedwars, whether that's with a sword, by knocking them into the void, or even with a bow, their stuff will go straight into our inventory. However, this wasn't always the case. Back in prototype, whenever you got a kill, their stuff would just disperse on the ground, such as in Skywars. This still happens sometimes as a glitch in current day bedwars, and happens every time when someone dies from fall damage. Alright, to end this off, I just wanted to show some old leaderboard pictures. So this right here is the oldest known screenshot of the leaderboards. It was taken on the first day. Here's a blurry screenshot of the most OG leaderboarders. And lastly, a picture from when the leaderboards were still being tested. Well, that's all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a very different video for my style, but let me know what you guys thought. I'd love to hear some feedback. Other than that, hope you guys have a good day.